afternoon, everybody. What is going on? I am Jeffgrantmedia, and today's real user review, we're going to be taking a look at the Paragon system. And what this thing is, it's this pretty interesting modular system that you can organize and carry just about anything in. But before we begin, Paragon did reach out to me and ask me if I wanted to take a look at their product, so they did send me this for free, but all of the opinions in this video are mine and mine alone. I did not share this content with Paragon Systems before publishing. They will see this when you do. And one other thing we need to point out before we get into this is that this is not the production version of the Paragon system with the field pocket. This is a sample, so there may be a few tweaks from this version that we're looking at now before we get to the final production that is currently live on Kickstarter. So a quick rundown is basically, like I said, this is like this whole modular system where you can organize just about anything. And as you see here, this is my basic EDC. So this is what I carry on the daily with me when I need to take my laptop. This is my basic system, and you can see I have a ton of room left in here to do a whole lot more. And I kind of just stuck some of these extra ones in here so I didn't lose them, but we'll get into another completely way to use this a little bit later on. But you can organize this for anything. It doesn't have to be tech. You could put tools in here. Really, the possibilities are endless what you can do with this kit. But again, as you see here, this is my basic EDC that I have with me just about every single day. So I kind of just wanted to lay out what I normally would carry. We have the cables for my my MacBook Pro, memory cards that I swap out for my cameras, some jump drives with data on them that I need, and a blank one for anything that I might need to copy, share, or give away. My mouse, keep a Sharpie and a pen. This is the dongle for my MacBook Pro, 2 terabyte lacy hard drive, and the cable for the hard drive. Now this, again, this is what I carry with me every single day, just about every single day. So I do have a lot of space that is still usable and available for me in here, and I could kind of filter in something from this tech kit, but I don't really use this very often, and I kind of only use this for one reason, and we're going to touch on this again in a little bit. But for now, we're going to get into the real user review part, and we'll start with the negatives. And the first negative is the size of this field pocket case. It is big, it is thick, it is bulky. Now, this whole kit that I have here, this all fits normally into this one pouch that is about 1/3 of the size of the field pocket kit. And all of this stuff fits in there, though a lot less organized. I can't just open it up and see everything super clearly, but all of this fits in that case, which takes up a much smaller footprint in my bag. Now, I did reach out to Paragon and talk to them about this. They said in the future they are going to try to release different size field cases, so you might not have to have this big bulky one. One other thing I said was that this spine here, it's rigid, so you kind of have no choice, but you have this like almost 2.5 inch thick field case here. So if they made the spine a lot less rigid, you can actually just collapse it down, and you could kind of see, like, probably the thickest part is going to be right here for me, because this is right here is my hard drive, right here is the block for my computer. But even so, you could see I could squish them down pretty far. So if this was not a rigid piece for the spine, you can actually compress this down. And they can even take that a step further. And since this is it's all hook on the outside, they can maybe give you a couple compression straps so you can kind of just pull that in, and you can shrink that up, and then you're going to have a much smaller footprint with the field case. But again, the overall size of this too, it's quite large. You could see the scale of this compared to, here's my holding it up to my chest. It's pretty big. And again, I am only utilizing a portion of this space, but I wanted to put my daily EDC tech kit in here. So you could fit a lot into this thing, but overall the footprint is just very large. And even putting this thing inside of a lot of bags, I've been using some larger capacity bags. This takes up a lot of real estate in there, and it could be a little bit difficult to get it in and out of the pack. But again, I did speak to my contact at Paragon Systems, and they said they are aware of the size of the field case, and that's one of the things that they want to change in the future, is that they could actually offer a lot of different sizes, which would be great. I really hope that they move forward and do that, and that maybe with a new version of this same size that they make the spine flexible so you can compress it when you don't need it to be about 2.5 inches thick. And honestly, thus far, that was my only negative with this. Now, there is one neutral point, and we're going to talk about how the system works first. So we have these little clips. These are how you slide and adjust to make your, there we go. This is how you make the loop system of whatever you want to carry. So you slide these around. You can make a loop size for, say, a Sharpie, and then you can just shrink it down. There I go, got the size for a Sharpie. I can put maybe my Sharpie on here, but oh no, I only have 2. They slide right off, and they slide right on. So now I can possibly have, say, my Sharpie and say my mouse, and I would just slide this, make the loop the right size, make it a little bit bigger at first so I can kind of get the width, and then I can just slide these around to shrink it up, and there we go. Now it's snug. Now I have my mouse and my Sharpie, and I could do this with literally anything. I just grabbed 2 things that were quick and easy to demonstrate that I can show 2 vastly different sizes, a tiny thin Sharpie and a much fatter, wider mouse, and they fit on the same strap. And actually, I have enough room on here. I could probably fit at least one more pen or a Sharpie on this thing, but I can probably even make this fit maybe even like an iPhone cable or something if you shrink that up kind of good, but you can fit so much stuff on this. And how this all works is that these essentially slide on like a track system. You can see in the center is actually the hook section of the Velcro, the hook and loop, and then on the outside it's a bit rigid, and the hooks, they're just these thin hooks, and they just catch the edge, which is essentially a track, and they just slide around. So the gap allows you to get full connection of the Velcro onto the field case, and the outside of the field case is actually all loop, so you can just stick this on. And then the only thing that you want to make sure you do, there's a little bit of a seam from the track. You want to make sure when you're putting it down, you give it a nice good press right in the center, because that again is where all of your hook is, and you can still slide the clips around even while it's attached. So even after it's attached, I can put my Sharpie back in if I wanted to, and then I could put my mouse in, or I can put maybe the dongle in here instead of my mouse, and I can still fully slide around these clips. If I wanted to put my mouse up here instead, I can just slide these clips around while they're in the field case, and everything fits no problem. And then I can just put, if I want to put my mouse back over here, I just stick my mouse there, and you can always slide these around and tighten them back up. So once you're pulling things in or out, you're gonna be pulling the loop up, the elastic loop, and that's gonna make these little clips slide to the side. So every time you put them in, you can still adjust them. It's not like once you put it in the field case, it's locked in and you can't do anything with it. So you can still use this, and you can pick these up. I want a smaller one in here, so I wanted to put another pen. I'll just take my pen. I want to slide it right to the side here. Stick my pen up here. Boom. Slide that down. And here, just to show you how useful this is, I can even put additional clips on while it's attached. So you can not only slide them around, you can take them off and put them on while they're in there. And that's the whole system. It's very, very simple and pretty genius to move around. You can easily swap these out, move them around. You can take these clips off, you can add clips, you can remove clips, you can put the clips on while it's on the case, you can slide the clips around while it's in the case, and it actually comes with 4 different sizes. We have our tiny one, we have our medium-sized clips, we have our little bit longer clips, and then we have our big, huge, long ones. So we go, boom. So we have 4 different sizes that we can actually choose from and work with. And then one of the other incredibly beneficial things that you can do with the system is you don't need to use the straps with the field case system. You can pull these things out and use them all alone. I can just grab this and I have my hard drive and my dongle, and I can just grab this and go. I can use my own loop. If I have something like a GoRuck shooter, I can attach these directly to the back of the bag if it had like a loop panel in the back of the bag. And one of my favorite uses for the Paragon system is that I can use it with my notebook to always keep my pen attached to it, because that is one of my biggest pet peeves, is that I always end up having to dig for my pen, because the tablets that I always use these like almost sketch pads. I just like them. I like the paper better, but the pen is never attached to the tablet, and I'm always digging for it or losing my pen. So I can just slide one of these. This is like the second to longest version. I just took the 2 clips right off it, and this will slide right over my notebook, and I have just enough room for the side to dangle off, and I can clip my pen to it. And another thing is that this notebook, it does have the elastic band to keep it from opening, but if I didn't have that elastic band, it'll also help to keep my notebook closed, so it's not going to be flopping open. And I said we'd come back to this little tech kit a little bit later on, and honestly, I have this whole tech kit. There's an extra hard drive in there and stuff too, but the reason I have this, the main reason and kind of the only reason I have this is, well, I had this tech kit that I got, and I like this tech kit a lot, but I never really used it. It didn't work out for me for my daily EDC for everything I needed. But I carried this specifically to carry the charging cable for my tablet. Now, my tablet is just a Kindle. It's just a Fire Tablet 10, so there's no USB ports. I just use it strictly for entertainment. I bring it with me to work sometimes to just like do something on my lunch break, or if I'm traveling or something, I'll bring that specifically for entertainment reasons. So I don't need USB drives. I don't need a hard drive. Maybe I'll need the small battery bank for it, but honestly, it's got a pretty good battery life on it, so I haven't really ever charged it. I don't think I've ever charged it from the battery bank. So what I have been doing now is I just take the cable and I will just take one of the straps in the Paragon system. I will stick my charger, kind of stick my cable in here, and slide that puppy on, and boom, there we go. I'm getting rid of this for this, and now I'll just toss this directly into my backpack, and I have a lot less bulk and a lot less weight that I now have to carry. So all in all, honestly, I'm pretty happy with this system. Once they first reached out to me, I thought it was completely new, out of the box thinking. It was a really cool idea because this system is so modular. You can do anything with it. You don't have to use the field case if you don't want to. You can use just the strap system alone, and you can toss these individually into a bag. You could toss these if you have a different tech kit that you like that has maybe a field or a loop panel on it. You can stick these right in there. Again, like you can use these like in a GR shooter or any loop backed panel backed system, and you could put just about anything in your backpack and just straight up organize your bag. You can utilize it with the field case, which again, they are looking into creating some smaller and different sizes, so you can use these probably a little more freely in a lot of different size packs, because I'm using like 25, 27 liter bags lately, but if I were to be using like a GoRuck bullet, that's 15, at least my bullet's 15 liters. This thing, it would probably take up basically the entire pack, so I wouldn't be able to use the field case inside that backpack because of the size, but they're looking into it. But you don't need to use the field kit. You can use this completely, you can use the straps completely independent of the field case. So all in all, I'm very happy with this system. It's really, really cool. The one thing that I think this would be incredibly useful for me is, honestly, if I was still playing music, if I was still playing open mics and playing gigs, I would use this to organize all of my guitar crap, because I have been playing guitar far longer than I've been to carry, and I still have my old habits from playing guitar, where I have 2 packs that I'll use when I'm taking stuff out, and they're old beat up bags that I've had forever, but they're my guitar gear bags, and I literally just throw everything into like 2 pockets, so everything's just a big mess. So I can totally organize like patch cables and extra strings and guitar tuners and string winders and wire snips and screwdrivers and Allen wrenches and all of the small tools and crap that I need to carry when like pliers and all the junk that I end up carrying and digging through my backpack with. Honestly, I feel like this would be the best system for that. And I have the bags that I use for all my guitar stuff. They're older and they're bigger bags, so this would totally slide in there, no problem. And honestly, for my guitar stuff, this might be either perfect or just a tad bit too small, but for an EDC, this field case is a tad bit too large. But all in all, it's a great idea. I love how modular the system is. I love how that you can just put anything in here. I have barely scratched the surface of what you can use this stuff for. Anything that you need to organize, you could put in these things, and because you can just slide these straps around and remove the clips and add more clips, and they come in 4 different sizes, you can really make these things so incredibly customizable that the possibilities, they're literally endless that you can do with these things. So I'm very happy with the Paragon system, and stay tuned, because they are supposed to potentially send me out a production sample. So if it is a production version, so if it is completely different, or are there any vast improvements from the this prototype sample that I have, I will definitely do an update video in the future to look into that and to dig into that a little bit deeper. But yeah, I'd say it's definitely worth taking a risk on with the Kickstarter. I know sometimes Kickstarters they're a little scary because you don't know if they don't get funded, you get your money back, but is it going to deliver as promised, especially with something that you've never heard of before? And I think with Paragon, they're definitely delivering. This is definitely a very cool, very interesting product, and I'm really excited to see where they go with this. If they can really take this kind of far, there's a lot you can do with this, and I'm kind of interested to see where they go with it. So if you like this video or any of my other videos, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Smash that big red button and ring that bell right next to it so you get notifications next time I post a brand new video. Good night.